instance.
Stop the instance and start the instance. What happened when you stop and start? It will look for underlying hardware health status, whether underlying resource is healthy or not. If it is not healthy, it will automatically move to another healthy host, healthy physical resource. So your EC2 instance is capable to move here and there. From where it is going to get the storage? Is it coming from physical resource or dedicated service? If it is a physical resource, if server move to different hardware, are we going to get all the data? No. But if you perform stop and start, where the server is running doesn't matter. If you perform start and stop, it will automatically go to another healthy host and you are going to have all the resource. Why? Because in EBS model, the data or volume comes from a service called EBS. In instance store, the storage will deliver from underlying hardware only. Okay, clear with this? Right. So the disadvantage with this process is if something happened to underlying physical resource, all your data gone. If you want, you can reboot it, but you cannot perform stop and start. You cannot perform stop and start. Why? Because whenever you're performing stop and start, your EC2 instance will move from physical resource. Whenever you're starting, it will go to one of the resource. But storage is delivering from same hardware, so it won't support like a stop and start option. Okay, just remember that. In your certification exam, you can expect a question. In your certification exam, you can expect a question that if you have an EC2 instance, due to some issues, that instance, stopped and started automatically. Okay, because of that start and stop operation, you have lost all the data inside that server. What might be the reason? How you can overcome it? The reason is it is a instance store volume. It's not EBS volume. So as he clearly mentioning in that question, the instance performs stop and start. As it performs stop and start, it lost communication with underlying physical resource. It will pick a volume, but that's not going to have any data. So if you're using instance store, okay, so the data won't be lost forever. That's the reason we call it as a ephemeral storage. Ephemeral means temporary. Ephemeral meaning, if you what exactly ephemeral means in Google, you can find it as a temporary. Won't last forever. Okay, so that's the reason we even call it as a ephemeral storage. Reboot, you won't lose any data. But automatically, you don't have any option to do the stop and start. If system performs that automatically, due to any technical issues happen that automatically, you will lose all your data whenever you are using instance store. That's the reason we never use this. But for that certification question, we are discussing. Okay. So here is the points regarding that instance store. So we call it as a ephemeral storage or temporary storage. We cannot perform stop and start. Storage will be delivered from underlying physical host or physical resource. If required, we can reboot. If you reboot, you don't lose any data. Okay. If underlying hardware failure happen, we will lose all the data. So these are the points regarding EBS volumes. Okay. Any questions? Not so important topic, but for that question perspective, you need to know this. Yeah, someone is asking something. Yes, please go ahead.
We cannot stop and start the instance, the second point. So which instance is this?
If you cannot, it's an instance store. It's not big. We have only specific categories. It's not like a T2 micros and all, it won't support. Again, if you're just going launching instance by using this wizard, you won't find instance store volumes. If you want to launch any instance store volumes, so you need to specify a different AMI. Click on browse more AMIs. Okay, go to community AMIs. So there we have an option called under root device type instance store. Select it. These are the specific operating systems. So from 2018 onwards, it stopped. Okay, you pick one of the AMI and you scroll down. You see here, is these T2 micros and all, is it showing anything? No, only specific categories it will show. So if you really want to test, you can test it, but I'm not going to. It definitely cost me. Okay, so choose one key pair, an existing secondary group. All right. So you see the storage. Earlier, we have some options like, increasing the storage, selecting like a GP2, GP3, IO1. But do we have any options here?
No.
So we are getting ephemeral, temporary storage from underlying hardware. The size is 2048 GB, technically 2 TB. I don't need that. I want only 30 GB. Can I modify it? No, we cannot. So these all are the limitations with this instance store. So you go here, click on launch instance, your instance will come with all these volumes. Okay. So as I mentioned that point multiple times, we don't use this in real environment. For that certification question perspective, we discuss this topic. And don't mention that in your interview or in your, whenever you're discussing an interview, you don't mention you use instance store volumes. We never ever use this. Right? That answers question?
Yeah, yes, sir.
All right. So there is another small topic called event bridge. So basically, this event bridge is a service that works based on two things. Okay. So one is event-driven process. Second one is scheduled process. Okay. So the event-driven process means when something happened, another thing will happen. For example, you have a server. When server is stopped, I want to get a notification automatically. So for notification, what service we are going to use? SNS. For server, what service we are using? EC2. Launch an instance, we are using EC2, right? So when something happen in EC2, I want to trigger SNS. Okay. So similar way, when any object is uploaded to S3 bucket, or when object is deleted from S3 bucket, or when bucket is deleted, or when someone log into an AWS account, I want to get a notification. So when something happen, if instance is not changed in status, are we going to get a notification? No. When instance stopped, then only I want to get notification. If it won't stop, I won't get it. So basically, this is an event-driven process. The logic is very simple. You are standing a roadside, someone came and slapped you. What you will do? You will sit silently. You'll slap him back, right? Exactly. You'll slap him back. If he don't slap you, you won't slap. So here, the slapping you is an event. Slapping reverse is a event-driven process. Okay. Not a good example. Right. So, that is one thing. Second one is scheduled process. Scheduled process means periodically it will happen. For every 5 minutes, someone will come and will slap you. Okay. So as I told you, not a good example. So, for every 5 minutes, I want to take a snapshot of an EBS volume. Or every day morning at 9 a.m., I want to stop the EC2 instance. At every 9 a.m., I want to stop the EC2 instance. Or for every 10 minutes or every 1 hour, I want to perform something. This is a scheduled process. Two types of processes. Event-driven process, scheduled process. If someone asks you, what exactly this CloudWatch event bridge service is, you mention event bridge service, we can configure event-driven process and scheduled processes by using this. These are the proper terminologies. Okay? Don't give the example I mentioned. Right. So now I'm going to take an EC2 instance. I'll take an SNS topic. When the EC2 instance is stopped, I'm going to get a notification. So similarly, I will show you what are the things we can configure there. In real environments, we use this. In real environments, we use this. We do some customizations also. Okay. So navigate to EC2. Recently worked on a request that if there is a service called batch. If that failure happen, we need to get notification. Implemented that. Okay. Navigate to instances. I'm quickly launching an EC2 instance. I'm calling it as a test web server. T2 micro. I'm selecting a key pair. MyLinux KP. I'm selecting an existing security group, MyLinux SG, then launch instance. All right. So now I have launched an EC2 instance here. Fine. This EC2 instance is in running state. It will come to running state. Okay. Now this EC2 instance is very, very important to me. When this EC2 instance is stopped, I want to get a notification. Okay. I want to get a notification. So this is an event-driven process, as I mentioned. So if instance is running state, I don't require any notification. When it is in stopping state or stopped state, then only I want to. And that to only this specific EC2 instance. Let's assume I have 10 or 20 EC2 instances here. Okay, I don't want to get notification. Only for this important instance only I want to get notification. Okay, so for that, we can depend on Event Bridge service. So navigate to Amazon Event Bridge. Earlier, it is just part of CloudWatch service. CloudWatch is a service. It is just part of that. But AWS improvised it and they made it as a dedicated service now. Okay. So here is the Amazon Event Bridge. So in left pane, you can find rules. Go to roles. Here, I have some rules. I have not deleted. Okay. Do not delete. Okay. Is also not really required. Okay. So navigate to rules. Click on create rule. Now, what is a rule name? It is asking, okay. I'm going to call this rule as prod EC2 down alert. All right. So then what is the description? You gave any description. So event bus is going to be default. It's going to pick the default or custom parameters. So rule with the event parameter, event pattern. This is a event driven. Schedule is a schedule process. So let's go with the first option now. Let's go with the first option now. Then click on next. Now, so what is the event source? So event source is like, any other AWS, any other services or AWS partner services or any event in this AWS account or a specific event or event bridge partner. Okay, go with the first option. Event bridge. The source is going to be our EC2, that is an AWS service. That's the reason I'm selecting first option. So this is a sample event. Ignore sample event. Scroll down. This is a creation event. Now, whenever this EC2 is a service here, I'm selecting EC2. What is the event type? Okay, if you scroll down here, you can find instance state change notification. Select that. Any state or specific state. If you select specific state, if you click here, instance is in pending state, running state, shutdown, stopping and stopped. Whenever any instance is changing its status from running to stopping or stopped, any instance or specific instance, go with the specific instance. If you want, you can add multiple, okay? Just click on add, you can add multiple. I'm going to take this instance ID and I'm giving that here. So you see now, whenever any EC2 instance is changed its status to stopping or stopped, any instance or only specific instance here, then click on next. If you want to add, you can add multiple also. So now, what target you want to trigger? So that is the event you selected. Your event is when instance is changing its status, then what is your target? So the target is, and I want to trigger an AWS service. What do you want to do? You go here, I want to trigger an SNS topic. So you know how to create an SNS topic, right? SNS topic, you remember? Okay, I'll repeat it, don't worry. Go to SNS. In left pane, you have topics. Go to topics, create topic, select standard, give a name, my EC2 down alert. What is the display name? Prod EC2 is down. Okay, just scroll down, create topic. That's it. Now you need to add subscriber. To which email ID you want to get notification? Create subscription. Subscription protocol is email and give your email ID. Okay, scroll down, then create subscription. Now navigate to your email. So you should get an alert now. You see this? Prod EC2 down alert. So we need to click on confirm subscription. Click on confirm subscription. Now subscription is confirmed. SNS part is completed now. Now go back to EventBridge. Give a refresh. So we are working in Mumbai region. Your SNS also should be in Mumbai region only. Go to topics. My EC2 down alert is the one I am selecting. Then click on next. Next. Scroll down. Create rule. Now a rule created. What that rule will do? It continuously monitor our EC2 instance status. Right? If it is in running state or rebooting state or whatever state, pending state, doesn't matter. If it is changing to stopping or stopped, we will get notification. Okay. So let's do that now. Okay. Now I'm navigating to instances. Navigate instance state. Stop instance. Manually doing it. So instance is stopping now. You see here, we got a notification. Why we got that notification? Instance current state is stopping. That's the reason we got a notification. It is still stopping. Okay. Once it is changed to stopped state. Okay. Now it is stopped state, right? We will get another alert. You see here? This is another alert. You see this? This instance is in stopped state. But this JSON is a bit difficult to read, right? We can use an option called input transformer. We can use input transformer and whatever values required from this JSON, you can pick that value and you can get this message, same message in whatever the message you type in plain text and all, you can get it. So for that, I'm going to use a simple event here. This is a sample event, okay? All right. So whenever instance is stopping, this is what the email I'm getting. I just copied, pasted from email only. Nothing new. Okay. So what we are going to do, we are going to pick what exactly information we required. For example, do we really require source? It's going to be always EC2. Account, it's going to be always same. Time, we might require this at what time instance is stopped. Okay. So what exactly information you required, you put it in this format. You put it in this format. And if you want, I can show you this. This is a format, guys. We are taking it in a simple JSON format. You see here, open the brace, close the brace. In between, I'm taking instance ID as a .detail instance ID. State as a .detail state. Time as a time, region as a region, account as a $account. Okay. So this information I'm going to take from this JSON. Only that information. And I'm going to change in this manner. So it will pick this time from the JSON. Status of your EC2 instance ID. Whatever the instance ID we have this in this code, it will write down that instance ID here. In AWS region, it will pick the region and it will show the status. Okay. So you need to give input path and input template. Based on these two things, AWS will pick required information from the JSON. It delivers a custom SNS notification. Okay. So now let's do that now. So this is what the so far our output. Now let's go to EventBridge. So select these roles under targets. This is the target, right? Click on edit. And here, expand advanced settings. Under matched events, you have an option called input transformer. Select the input transformer. Click on configure input transformer. Then it is asking again sample event, just ignore it. Scroll down. What is the input transformer? Input path, input template, and this is going to be output. We can generate it. So let me give the input path. This is the input path. Input template. Now click on generate. So then it will generate now. So then click on next, next, right, update the rule. Now let me do, okay, it still didn't stop it straight. Let me start and I need to stop it. Okay, now it is in running state. I'm going to stop it. Now we will get a notification. You see this? This is easy to read, right? Compared to this JSON, this one. At this time, status of your EC2 instance in this region has changed to stopping state. We will get a new one for a stopped status. Okay. So we can even, instead of getting outputs in this JSON format, we can use an option called input transformer. We can get it in easily readable format. Okay. So this is an important one. We use this in real environments. All right. So this is one example. To understand the service, we have taken one example. Similar way, you want to configure different things. You can go to create role. For example, I want to configure something related to S3. Role with event pattern. Click on next. Scroll down. What is the event source? AWS service. What is the service? S3. Then what event you want to? All events, bucket level APIs, object level APIs, bucket level APIs. Scroll down, any operation or specific operation. See, whenever any create bucket operation happen in your AWS account, you want to get notification, you can do that. Or we have another one, whenever any object is uploaded, whenever any put object happened to a specific bucket. Okay, whenever something happened, any object is uploaded to this specific bucket, then I want to trigger some Lambda function. I want to trigger some step function. Okay, so to process the code, to process that image and all, that is different thing. Okay, so but here, when something happen on one service, we are triggering some another service. That is a EventBridge purpose. First thing. Second thing, okay, let's take an EBS volume. So let's assume you have an EBS volume, just 1 GB EBS volume. So I want to periodically take a snapshot of this. So for every 5 minutes, I want to create a snapshot. This is a scheduled process. So go here, create role. EBS is the name I'm giving. Scheduled, I'm selecting here. Click on next. At what time? So you can use an option called cron format, or you can go with the fixed. Okay, for every 5 minutes, it need to happen. For every 1 hour, it need to happen. So we can choose that option here. Or you can go and use cron option also. So basically, cron is a periodical one. So if you want to understand this cron, use this website, crontab.guru. Go to this crontab.guru website, and here, based on basically here, this is a general Linux cron. In AWS, we are going to have 6, not 5. So the first one is a day within a week. Okay. For example, only from Monday to Friday, I want to trigger something. The first value is day within a week. Second value is what is a month. Only on November month it should happen. Only on December month it should happen. Or November as well as December month only it should happen. Then you can give it. The third one is day within a month. From 1st to 15th, or only 1st to 7th, or only 1st to 15th, this need to happen. Or if you are giving star, technically that means every day. Okay, on only 1st. In November and December, only 1st. Something need to happen. That too, if it is falling under Monday to Friday category. Okay, so that we can give. And then hour, at what hour? At 12:05, at 12:30, something need to happen. This is, okay, this is hour, this is minute. Okay? Something is missing. Okay. So yeah. So I mistyped it. It's gone. So this, so similar way with similar values, we have event bridge. You can configure here. Year, day of a week, month, day of a month, hour, and minute. So it will show next 10 triggers. You verify it, you can configure. So just for testing purpose, I'm going to take for every 2 minutes, I want to get a snapshot of that EBS volume. Click on next. AWS service. Here you see reboot, stop instance API call, terminate instance API call. We can call Lambda function, we can trigger SNS, we can use systems manager automation. So just for testing purpose, I'm using SNS, and you choose the SNS topic, click on next, and create rule. Okay. Oh, sorry. Which one I picked? Fixed rate. No, this is not the one I want to show. So I want to show that create snapshot API call. For this volume, it need to happen. Okay. Now what happened? For every 2 minutes, that EBS, for every 2 minutes, the EBS volume will get a snapshot. Do I have any snapshots now? Now for every 2 minutes, it will start creating. So that is also another example for scheduled process. Okay. In your interview, if you get any question, so how exactly your alerting system works whenever any server is down? Are you going to get any alert? So such type of questions we can expect. So you can talk about this event bridge. Okay. But most of the organizations depends on some commonly used third-party tools. We have some common third-party tools like SolarCube, Splunk, right? Site 24/7, Datadog. We have a lot of third-party tools. So your organization may, subscribe to one of the. So I'll tell you which one you can give a try and which one is free to give a try. So I'll tell you that at end of this course, there is a monitoring site called Site 24/7. You give a try. 1 month is free. Okay, 1 month they really don't require any credit card also. You integrate your AWS account, whatever instance you have, you get it there. And you can even monitor your instance metrics and all. CPU utilization, memory, all those things, we'll get it. Okay. So let's wait for 2 minutes and it is going to trigger. For every 2 minutes, it creates a snapshot. So that is about event bridge. Okay. So any questions on this event bridge?
Yeah, Avinash, like what if like EC2 instance is down and like will it create snapshots?
Instance is down. If you want, like, whenever instance is changing its status, whenever instance is in stopping state, okay,
Okay,
you want to create a snapshot of an EBS volume? Yes, you can. Right? Because it
okay,
is an event, you are triggering an event. So when something happened, you are triggering a target, right? The target is going to be like, your snapshot creation. When instance is changed in status, then immediately it will create a snapshot. Yeah, we can.
okay. Thanks.
Yeah. So you see here, 1 GB volume created. If we wait for 2 more minutes, we'll get one more. For every 2 minutes, it is going to create. So that is just a scheduled example. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put it in disable state, or you can delete it if required. Okay. Yeah, that is a event bridge option. So you won't get much questions in your certification exam, but when coming to real time in interview, alerting mechanism. So when some login attempts happen to your AWS account, what is your mechanism and all? When one server is down, what is your mechanism and all? One resource is deleted, right? So you want to take care about that, or you want to get an alert if someone did any activity on your S3 bucket. If someone make any S3 bucket public, you want to get a notification. So immediately we are going to treat that as a non-compliant and we are going to ask for the explanation, right? So how we are going to get that information when someone needs something? The help of event bridge. Okay? Sir, Jagan sir, concentrate here.
Avinash, how it is different from CloudWatch?
CloudWatch is just a monitoring. See, it will just like, give a graph what is when coming comparing it with CloudWatch. Okay. So CloudWatch, can it do anything? No. So basically, CloudWatch will monitor. Okay, it tells us like this is what your CPU usage, this is what your network usage. Okay, this is what, like, it update the graph. Okay, so if you create an alarm, again, alarm is going to be managed by this event bridge only. So if you create an alarm, it take metrics from CloudWatch. This event bridge take metrics from CloudWatch. When it is matching, it will trigger that action. Okay, but CloudWatch is just a monitoring service. CloudTrail is just logging service. With the help of that logs, with the help of that monitoring metrics, we are doing activities with the help of event bridge. This all service works together.
Okay.
Yeah. So I told you one point. Remember, you perform anything in AWS, it will log. You perform anything, you even give a refresh, it will log. CloudTrail. Okay. So that CloudTrail logs will be available to event bridge. Yeah. All right. So yeah, I need to delete this snapshot and that additional volume I created also. Okay. Yeah. So with this, we have done with our EC2 module. Okay. It's an important module. Spare some time and go through it. Right. So then we are going to start with Route 53 module. It's a 1.5 session topic. So we'll discuss very basic things today. So we'll perform hands-on in our next session. Okay. So basically this Route 53 is a DNS service in AWS. What is DNS?
Domain
Everybody uses phones, right? In your phone, you have an option contacts. How many contacts you have?
300, 400.
300, 400, 500. Any more than 500? Anyone? Okay. So if you have more than 500, I'll call you telecaller. Okay. So So, are you going to remember all that phone numbers? All right. Hardly how many phone numbers we can remember?
Max 10.
CR4. CR4 or 10. If you're a superwoman, okay, 50. Right. So it's obviously be difficult to remember the numbers. Even our devices, laptops. What is the first statement you learned about computers? Computers can't understand English language. They can't understand human readable language. So everything they will convert to bits and bytes, zeros and ones only they will convert. So if you want to type something, google.com, is it okay to type something like this and all? Then dot something like this and all?
No.
No, right? So even, okay, fine, we have simplified it. And if you want to access google.com, you need to access something like this. Is it easy to remember?
No.
Still no. Still no. So google.com, is it easy to remember? Yes.
Yes.
So what happens, this DNS service will map our domain names, whatever the name we are typing here. Technically, it is a domain name. And fully, we call it as a FQDN, fully qualified domain name. FQDN means fully qualified domain name. This DNS service, domain naming system or domain naming service. Some guys call it as a system, some guys call it as a service. Okay, anything is fine. Right. So this DNS service will map our fully qualified domain names to IP address. If you want to know IP address of google.com, so you open command prompt or terminal. Okay, just give ns lookup google.com. ns lookup means name server lookup. Click on enter. You see this 142.250.193.142 is Google's IP address. Okay. So remembering this IP address is easy or google.com is easy? Obviously, google.com is easy to remember. Okay. So who is maintaining these conversions from this IP address to this IP address and vice versa? DNS service. There is a DNS IP address configured in this machine. It is showing the DNS IP here. Sometimes, your ISP will configure it defaultly. If you don't want to go with that, you can configure Google DNS server IP address also. You see this 8.8.8.8. I manually configured it. Why? Because I don't like, I'm moving here and there. Some DNS server was not working as expected. I went Google DNS servers. And you see this hashtag 53. You remember the port numbers? You remember the port numbers? What is RDP port number? 80. Wrong. 2089. Wrong. 4489. Come on, what port numbers you guys are giving?
3389.
3389. It's 3389, not 4489. Okay. So, right. So RDP port number is 3389. SSH port number is 22. HTTP port number is 80. HTTPS port number is 443. MSSQL port number is 1433. MySQL port number is 3306. NFS port number 2049. Okay. So similar way, DNS also have a port. That port is 53. That's the reason in AWS we call it as a root 53. In AWS, DNS service name is root 53. Okay. So you need to remember. If you don't know DNS service port number, just recall AWS DNS service root 53. You can easily answer that. Okay. So DNS port number is 53. 52 as well as 52, primarily 53. Okay. So now, this mapping and all happened by DNS service. But before that, okay, I have an EC2 instance. I'm trying to deliver a web page and all. I'm trying to deliver a website and all. But first, if I want to map a domain name, I need to have a domain name, right? If I want to map a domain name to my server, I need to have a domain name first. Okay. So from where we can purchase a domain name? GoDaddy. Why GoDaddy is famous? Dhoni is the brand ambassador. They gave a lot of advertisements. That's the reason. Right. So yeah, advertisement plays some crucial role also. So GoDaddy is like, one of the domain reseller. We technically call it them as the domain resellers. Okay. We have web.com, we have bigrock.com, we have freenom.com. Okay. So yeah, we have multiple domain registers. So we can go there and we can purchase a domain name. But someone already taken a domain name, like avinash.com is not available. Someone already taken it. I cannot purchase it. Google.com, someone already taken it. I cannot purchase it. So the domain names are unique. That is the first thing. And if you observe the domain names also, we have only some strings like a .com, .in, .us, .eu, .au. Can I get a domain name with .avinash, .shiva, .rakesh, .naresh? Can I get any? No. Why? Because, so first of all, to maintain the domain uniqueness, we have an organization called ICANN. There is an organization, they maintain domain uniqueness. If someone already taken a domain name, they don't make it available for any other. If google.com is already sold, no one can use that, no one can sell the domain name. Okay. So for that, we have an organization called ICANN, Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers. Okay. So then we have another organization called IANA, International Assigned Numbers Authority, something. Okay. Names Authority or Numbers Authority. Okay. So this organization maintains a database called Root Zone DB. This Root Zone DB contains, okay, what are the suffixes? Prefix means it's come front, suffix it comes last, right? What are the suffixes we can use for our domain names? .atel, .aws, .com, .in, .co.in, .us, right? So those all are maintained by an organization called IANA. Okay, these are regular things, not very technical things, not related to AWS. I'm talking very general things, okay? Okay, IANA will maintain that root zone database. Can we see that? Of course we can. So just go to Google, IANA root zone DB. Go to this root zone database. Go to this root zone database and here you can see .ae, .af, .aig, .alibaba, .aws, .atel. So some owned by different companies. For example, if you're taking .aws, it is owned by AWS. If you're taking .atel, it is owned by Bharati Airtel. They don't make it available for everyone. But some organization, they will sell domain names. For example, .in, it's a National Internet Exchange of India. Yes, you can purchase .in domain name. Okay, and so this IANA will maintain this. If you established an organization, you need some domain names, right? So for all your employees and all, you first need to register with this IANA. Okay, so then you can create all that and all. So that is the first thing, IANA. Then ICANN is there that takes care about domain uniqueness. And we can go to domain registers and we can purchase it. Okay, so let's take a very simple one, GoDaddy. Go to GoDaddy and you see here what is a domain name you want to search. So you say get a domain name at 139 rupees for first year. Obviously for second year, it's going to be huge. When coming to third year, you need to pay 2000 rupees. Don't go with the .com domains. So you will get some domain names at very, very low cost, even for 300 or 400 rupees. You will get a domain name for 1 year or 2 years. I purchased a lot in similar manner. Okay. So you go here and you type your domain. For example, I want to purchase avinash.com. Is it available? Avinash.com is already taken. Avinash.com is domain taken. Of course, they can do the brokerage service. Even Google.com is unavailable. You see? So we cannot purchase it if it is not available. There are some they will give suggestions and all. These are some suggestions. You see the pricing. Okay. Just don't go with the .coms and all. Just go with a very simple domain names and you search. If you want, you can purchase one. Okay. So this is domain registrar. Now, if you observe some domains, we are not going to have only one suffix, not only just .com, .in. We are going to have like a .co.in, right? .co.au, .edu.us. Some educational institutions will maintain that, right? So if you have only one string in that suffix, we call it as a TLDs. That means top level domain names. If you have multiple, we can call it as a second level domain names. Okay. So to resolve all this, now we are simply going here, we are giving google.coms and all. Okay. So there are some name servers, root zone name servers, top level domains that maintained by ICANN. That is responsible for all these resolutions and all. So you really no need to worry. Okay. So this is all regular things in the, about domains, domain names and all. When coming to Route 53, it's a AWS DNS service. So you launched an EC2 instance. Okay, you made it as a web server, or you created a load balancer. In backend, you have multiple web servers. Now you want to map a domain name to that. You want to map a domain name to that DNS name, or domain name to your EC2 instance IP address. So the first thing, you need to have a domain. So can we get a domain within AWS? Of course we can. So for that, go to Route 53. But it's a bit costly compared to GoDaddy and all. AWS is a bit costly. So go to Route 53. In left pane, you can find domains, registered domains and pending requests. Go to that registered domains. Click on register domain. And here you gave a domain name. For example, I want to purchase avinash.net. Then I can check it. Okay, it tells whether it is available or not. Avinash.net is not available, but avinash.mobi is there, avinash.cloud is there, and the cost. So click on add to cart and you purchase it. End of the month, you will get it in the bill. Don't purchase from AWS, okay? Don't purchase. So once you purchase, so then you will have domain name within AWS. You can map it. But I'm not suggesting you to purchase a domain name from AWS. So I want to purchase it from GoDaddy. If I want to purchase it from GoDaddy, so now AWS is different, GoDaddy is different. Okay, I have server in AWS, but my domain name is with GoDaddy. Can I enable communication between these two? Yes. Or you purchase, for example, GoDaddy is also quoting high price. You got it at low cost for for Big Rock website or any other website. You got it for at low cost. So then whoever trying to access the domain name, the request need to come to AWS. How to configure this? We'll discuss. Okay. First of all, if you purchase a domain name from third-party domain registrars like a GoDaddy or BigRock or Web.com. Okay. So first, whatever domain name you purchase there, create a hosted zone in AWS. Create a hosted zone. Step 1. You purchase domain name in domain register. That is completed. Step 2. Whatever domain name you purchase, create a hosted zone in AWS with that domain name. So in my case also same thing. So I purchased a domain name called learnaws.co.in. This is my domain name. You know where I have purchased it? I have purchased it from GoDaddy only. I need the credentials. Okay. So I'm logging to my GoDaddy account. Okay. I've logged into my GoDaddy account, and here under domains, or when I go to this GoDaddy homepage, or here under my products, okay. So you can see I already own one domain name, that is learnaws.co.in, where I have purchased in GoDaddy. Now, if any request is coming to this domain, it goes to GoDaddy and they are going to give a sample or test web page. GoDaddy test web page they will give. But these all requests need to come to AWS. So for that, as I told you, as a first step, what we need to do, go and create a hosted zone. The hosted zone name should be same as your domain name. If you gave typo, if you wrong type this, okay, it won't happen. So my domain name is learnaws.co.in. I have given that here. You gave any description? You can give it here. Tag, type. Okay. So public hosted zone. That means whatever the domain name we are giving here, it works across the globe. You can access it. I can access it. You go to home and you can access it. Okay. If you are selecting private hosted zone, this is like a intranet. Private hosted zone is like a intranet. What is intranet? Within the network. So this name resolution happen only within the AWS environment. From my local laptop also, this name won't resolve. Okay. So I'm going with this public hosted zone option. I want to access. Even I want to access. I want you guys also want to test it. So I'm going with public hosted zone. Click on create hosted zone. So then immediately one hosted zone will create, and it comes with two records. These are the two records. One is NS record, name server record. Second one is SOA record, start of authority record. NS, name server. Second one SOA, start of authority record. Okay. So these two records, do we have any option to delete? No. It's a default records. You cannot delete it. So whatever the name servers you got here, these name servers, you need to configure where you have purchased your domain name. I purchased in GoDaddy, so I need to configure this. By defaultly, they will configure with their own name servers. If you purchase from GoDaddy, GoDaddy will give their GoDaddy name servers. If you purchase from BigRock, BigRock will give their own name servers. Okay, so that's the reason whenever we try to access, it will goes to a sample test page. So you manually need, you need to purchase a hosting plan from them. But I don't have any thought to purchase hosting. I want to do hosting in AWS. Okay, so for this, first copy these 4 name servers. Okay, now log into your domain register. In our case, it's GoDaddy. And remove these dots, okay? Remove dot at end of this domain name. All right. So now go to GoDaddy, click on DNS. Click on DNS. So here DNS records, name servers. You see here, I'm using custom name servers. Generally, what happened? Generally, it selects with the GoDaddy name servers. It select with this option. But I want to give my own name server, so click on this. Enter my own name servers. Click on this, and whatever the 4 name servers you have, you got there. These are the 4 name servers, right? Copy and paste it here. You see here, same thing I did. 110109. 110109. 159207. 159207. Okay, same thing I did, copy and paste, and I have saved it here. Now what happened? Whoever is trying to access this learnaws.co.in, first the request will go to GoDaddy. GoDaddy knows where that name servers are, which name servers it need to point. it will point. So the request is coming to AWS now. The request is coming here. Here we need to configure to which server it need to go, which load balancer it need to go, which S3 bucket it need to go. That we can configure in AWS. This creating a hosted zone, grabbing name servers, configuring it only one time operation. Once you configured in GoDaddy, you sign out. No need to log into GoDaddy again. You no need to log into GoDaddy again. Okay. So that is a one-time activity you need to do. Right. So once this mapping is completed, now what you need to do, you need to have some resource in AWS to map this domain name. I want to map it with S3 bucket. So you know the process, right? Create an S3 bucket, upload some data, go to properties, enable static website hosting. And I told you one point, your domain name and your bucket name should be same. Now I need to have an S3 bucket. Let me quickly go there and let me show you that. I'm navigating to S3. So there is a bucket with the name called learn-aws.co.in. I have some data here. Navigating to property, scroll down, enable static website hosting. Default object is going to be index.html. Save changes. And make sure all your data is made public. All your data made public. That is important. Now, so far, how we are accessing this domain name? With this URL. Obviously, this URL is a bit difficult to remember. I want to map my purchased URL with this. So for that, go to Route 53, click on Create Record. Click on Create Record. Then there is a record called A record. We have a lot of records in AWS, guys. 1 second. We have lot of records in AWS. Okay, the first record is A record. A record stands for address record. A stands for address record. Okay. It maps names to IP address to names. In AWS, we have one more record called alias record. You can find this alias only in AWS. It's not a common DNS record. Okay. So if you want to map to some of the AWS supported resources like a load balancer, some S3 buckets, some CloudFront distributions and all, you can simply enable alias. It will show you all the supported resource. So I'm using A record along with alias record. Enabling alias record. Where do you want to do? I want to map it to my S3. Select S3. Region. It's in Mumbai region. What is the S3 bucket name? Select the bucket name. Now click on Create Record. Excuse me, someone please go on mute. Okay. So,
AWS S3 bucket is global, right? Not.
Sharman, they are watching some serial. Ramalakshmi, Hanuman Bhagan. Oh, what's happening?
S3 is global, right? S3 bucket is global, right?
S3 is a global.
Yeah, but do we need to mention the?
It supports in all the resources, right? See, but end of the day, where your bucket is. End of the day, where your bucket is. Service is global, but you are creating bucket in a specific region. Yadav, please go on mute. Purushottam Yadav. Okay. How you guys are managing watching a serial and attending AWS session simultaneously? Right. So enable this option. Enable this option. So now go back to DNS. So see, your S3 is a global. Someone raised this question. Your S3 is global, but your bucket, end of the day, whenever you are creating bucket, you need to choose a region, right? So where that bucket is, select this
Okay.
bucket. Okay. So this is our tomorrow session topic. Don't worry about that now. Then create record. Now what happened? Whoever typing this learnaws.co.in, what happened? It goes to some common name servers. Okay, so that sends request to GoDaddy. GoDaddy have name servers configured with AWS. The requests come to AWS. Route 53. Route 53. This DNS. This name is mapped with an S3 bucket. It goes to S3 bucket. This specific URL. Okay, so this URL is pointing to an index.html. So it goes to this index.html. It has some code that is pointing to all these files. Then your web page is delivered. Okay. So generally, whenever you do these modifications, DNS modifications, it's going to take 300 seconds to take effect. However, you can do the flush DNS and all, you will get changes immediately. Okay, but defaultly it takes 300 seconds, that means 5 minutes. So let's wait for a couple of minutes, then try to access this learnaws.co.in. Now, whenever we gave this learnaws.co.in, you see this, our web page is delivering. Not only here, you guys also can access it. I'm pasting this URL in our chat box. Okay. I'm pasting this URL in our chat box. Just click on this link. Okay. So then you can access that web page. So now, do we really need to remember that S3 entire URL and all? This entire URL? Not really required. It's easy to remember, right? So that is the mechanism, DNS mechanism. All right. So this is with S3. Tomorrow we'll discuss with EC2 instance and all. We will use multiple routing policies to discuss. So that we will discuss in our next session. Okay. So any questions
Okay,
on
right.
this? One thing. There is a website called freenom.com. Okay. So you can get a free domain name if you are lucky enough. Okay, it's not pretty straightforward. So if you have VPN and all, try to use that VPN and try to purchase. Okay. So yeah, just try to get a free domain name. You can save like, a 200 or 300 rupees. Or get a domain name from GoDaddy that cost you around 200 rupees. That is the first thing. And if you are creating a hosted zone in AWS, it costs you $50 50 cents per month. Yes. If you really want, you try. Okay. But just don't create and delete, don't create and delete. It will cost you. Once you create, 50 cents gone. Okay. So understand this mechanism. You will come to know about this in our next session, right? So understand this mechanism. If you are okay to spend some amount, then do this. Otherwise, have that thing in mind. Theoretically, that is too sufficient. Entire project level, only one-time configuration. We are not going to do this again and again and again. So, even you don't need to, in your interview, in day-to-day activities, you really don't need to talk about this service much. Okay? Why? Because only one-time configuration. Sometimes you may get request to create some record, add some records and all. But that is not at all a big thing. So, but you need to know how things are working. But don't worry or don't concentrate much on this module. Worry about EC2, VPC, database, IAM, S3. Okay. So that's the reason I have not deleted an existing one, not created. Why? Because if I delete, if I create another one, unnecessarily I need to pay 50 cents. Okay? Yeah. So use this free norm, get a free domain name if you're okay to pay that 40 rupees something. So then you create a hosted zone also in AWS. You practice that. All right. So yeah, any questions before closing the session? Okay, spare some time and please practice, guys. Okay. End of the course, how many days to complete this course? Again, I think I answered it last session. So we have by this month. See, you guys are taking a lot of holidays, so we cannot target to complete this month then. Right? So we can complete it by December 9th. Yeah. We can target it, but that's not a hard deadline. I don't have any deadlines and I don't rush. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that